That's awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, the following podcast is set for one fall. Introducing first, he is the man of mischief, the master of shenanigans, the horrific Hans. Shifty Gizm, next he hails from Italy. Eurasia, Europa, Sir Ronald Rome, Arminius, Romericus, Romulo, Augustus, Rome's. Finally, from the Bluegrass State, he is Kentuckiana's finest, the Sorcerer Supreme, the StreamYard, the Ostinator. And this is your full throttling, 5-star sword swinging, table breaking, lads lifting, gimmick giving, good old wrestling. Backseat, autonomous, freedom duffing, liberty loving, globe adventuring, podcast federation. No, and it started right, god dang. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now that we've promoted that, it is.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to good old Wrasslin. We took a week off, but we're back. You want to know why? Because we're back for WrestleMania. And then a couple of other things that we got to talk about tonight because, oh boy, WWE is getting a lot of stuff wrong this week. From PR to really, really bad scheduling timings. Good God, this is like the inverse of last year. Oh, God. This has been a nightmare week. Everything that could have went wrong this week went wrong, and then we'll just talk about what we talk about. And we got the usual suspects. We got Rome's, Shifty. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's good?
Oh man! So WrestleMania.
For WrestleMania.
Oh boy! As you can hear from the tone of my voice, I'm excited. Said sarcastically.
What happened, man? Just a couple of months ago, Elimination Chamber, we was like, yeah, this is great. And then now it's, wow.
Yeah, wow. What a difference 2 months make. Or a month. I don't know. I don't really know my surroundings anymore. This build has been so boring, I might as well be staring at a fucking dry paint wall.
So is this the latest WrestleMania's ever started too? Because I feel like the fact that it's, it's like coming, much later than usual. I feel like that also hurt the momentum too with whatever made it felt exciting 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to be honest with everybody. Well, before we even get to our predictions, we got 2 things we got to talk about beforehand. This WrestleMania has been snake bit from the word go. And I'm telling you right now, this show better be one of the best things I've ever watched, or else I'm going to be really pissed.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, this entire, we'll talk about it when we talk about it, because, oh my God. Because the first thing we're going to talk about here, because it's WrestleMania related, I figure we'll start off easy, somewhat, not really lighthearted, but just almost like, we could maybe have a brief little talk about it if we've seen it. The WrestleMania 9 documentary. Now, you may be thinking, why did they do a WrestleMania 9 documentary? I don't know. But
because it was in Vegas, and they're in Vegas this year.
That is true, but at the same time, it is widely regarded as one of the worst WrestleManias of all time, if not the worst WrestleMania of all time.
Yeah.
But there were things I did learn in this documentary that was actually kind of interesting. The fact that it was in the parking lot of Caesar's Palace. I actually did not know that.
Yeah,
I mean,
they had boxing matches out there before. That's one of the venues they had for stuff like that.
yeah, but you know what? I will say, for a parking lot venue, it doesn't look like a parking lot.
No.
They did a great job with the set design. If there's one thing to take away from WrestleMania 9 is that the set design, it was great.
It was small, but it's great.
There's a reason why it's always or for the most part, it's usually in the games, because it's just a very nice looking arena, I think. Very vast.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's vast. I just
no, but it's visually appealing, I guess.
Yeah, it was pretty tiny.
However, lots of revisionist history about WrestleMania 9.
Oh yes. And we caught Bret Hart in a lie.
My God, Bret, what happened? Did the check clear, Bret? Please, you don't have to lie. We already know. Don't lie to save face for anybody. Just say what you want to say. We know you will. Come on, Bret.
See, the story has been for years that Bret, he said, and I remember this even back. I think this is the truth because I remember this. He said back in '93 he was promised a shot at Hogan after Hogan, won the title there. He was get a shot at Hogan at SummerSlam, and Hogan was going to put him over. And then later in the fall, or at the Royal Rumble, he was going to get put over by Savage the next year. Well, see, he changed his story here, but I remember them building up to that in the third party wrestling magazines of the time, the black and white ones like the Wrestler or Pro Wrestler Illustrated. They were having cover stories building up the match because they were months out ahead of the stuff, and they had to get the stories up and on the shelf, to build up the pay-per-view. And they were talking about like Hogan saying on the cover, like Bret Hart can't lace my boots. So they were building up towards it. But yeah, they in this documentary here, he said that he was told that him losing the title was to build up Yoko, and man, but it's all jumbled up because they created the King of the Ring to keep Bret Hart hot for SummerSlam for the title match. And this was before they even realized what they were going to do with Luger. So they paid Bret off or something in this documentary, or they edited him real good because the story has changed. I don't think they never officially admitted that Hogan was going to face Bret Hart on official WWE television. So I don't think they wanted to admit that now. And I think even something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, I think he's dodged that a lot every time he's asked about it. So, I think that's something they want to sweep underneath the rug.
Because apparently there were pictures in Bret Hart's book of like there being like a press conference with Hogan and Bret, no. So it's like,
well, it wasn't a press conference. It was promo pictures for the pay-per-view that they had shot where they're both holding onto the belt. Yeah. But man, something they changed their story on that
because
something happened.
Because like the Vince being like, oh yeah, by the way, Hogan's gonna face Yoko instead. That's true. Like that, I know is true. But I agree, there's something missing there because Bret saying, oh yeah, Hogan's gonna win the belt back, and he's gonna lose to Yoko. That doesn't make a lot of sense because.
And he says that he was stabbed in the back, and it was like the worst time he's ever been screwed. What?
I'm sorry. What? Yeah,
that's the hilarious part too. Worst time I've ever been screwed.
Yeah, that combined with him saying that he was screwed, but yeah, it doesn't make sense because, like I said, the original plan was Hogan was going to. He had the knowledge that Hogan was going to put him over supposedly at SummerSlam, but Hogan dropped the belt to Yoko, and then he left because of the steroid thing. So, yeah, the stories are off.
Yeah, something's off.
I mean,
Something was off there. Yeah.
I mean, Brett wasn't even ready yet. Yeah, he was world champion going into WrestleMania 9, but he still was. He wasn't the guy. Like that's why they were still clamoring for Hulk Hogan to show up, or
Yeah.
like is Hogan going to be here? It's WrestleMania. It's wrestling. People want to see Hulk Hogan, so that was the other effect of it too.
This whole like documentary was not over Visitor's history because the like Hogan getting the black guy because of a jet ski incident. Like, I don't know if I believe that because
I did hear that back in the day. I did hear that. So,
I mean, but I don't know. It could seem a little far fetched because knowing Hogan, it's kind of like you have to take what he says now at face value because you don't know if he's lying or not.
yeah.
So it's
Right.
so that's kind of put into question and kind of
Even
go back.
sorry, Austin.
No, go ahead, Rums.
Even the interviews that they were talking to, the ones that's part of the documentary, not the ones that are like recent that he's talking about WrestleMania 9. He's still playing coy with people, whether it was a jet ski accident or just someone really punched him in the face.
Yeah.
There's moments in the interview where he's like, "Oh, that's interesting. Randy's saying that," and then he says this. It's this whole like playing coy with everybody else. What really happened? I mean, is that what he told Vince just to wrestle at WrestleMania, or like what happened? I don't know. He told Vince that it was a jet ski accident. Then he goes tell the doctor, "Oh, this is for a show, yada yada yada." Randy punched him in the face. We're supposed to do this. So which one is it?
I mean, again, it's Hogan, so for all we know, he could be bullshitting here. But it sounds really far fetched to where I could believe it.
Yeah, I mean, Randy did say that like, supposedly during WrestleMania 9, he was telling people that he was the one that punched Hogan in the face. Who knows if that's true or he's just going along with the story just to create hype?
Oh, it could be.
Yeah,
but what they said in the documentary does make sense that he made up that Randy Savage hit him on the fly so he could get approved by the doctor to wrestle because they said that they weren't going to give him a pass because he had a fractured orbital bone or whatever, and they weren't going to let him wrestle.
No, and then the whole like tag team thing with Brutus was kind of weird because you would think like, okay, if you're going on the way out, like if I'm Hogan, I'd be like, yeah, fuck it, I'm tag teaming my friend here, like, at least it's the way like Hogan comes in '93 is so fucking weird anyway. Which I get it, it's the business at the time was kind of down without Hogan, so you wanted to bring him back, but the way they did it was so convoluted and so stupid, and quite frankly, at the end of the day, the only person that really benefited from all this was Yokozuna.
Yeah,
because
you were roboting just for a second.
Oh,
you're good.
The only person that benefited from all this was Yokozuna because I mean, realistically, Yokozuna was, again, judging by the documentary, Yokozuna was not supposed to walk out as champion. It was going to be Brett, and then somebody came in and was like, and then Vince or Hogan or both was like, no, here's what's going to happen. And then Brett's like, oh, I guess I'm going to blow my brains out because I don't want to I'm not fucking losing to fucking Yokozuna. And,
he doesn't talk like that. I mean, he doesn't say that stuff. I mean,
it would be really funny if he did say that. He was just like,
okay.
Because I listened to a podcast called New Blood Rising, and they have like a Bret Hart impression where he's just like, I'm gonna blow my brains out if I have to do this. But at the same time, it's just like Hogan realistically winning the belt in '93. Did it really do anything for the business in '93? No. In fact, they were still in the same place, and a lot of the guys in the documentary, like Taker and Shawn, were kind of saying, well, okay, you're saying we're going into this new direction, we're starting to build up these new stars, but you going and dipping into the past with guys like Hogan, it's like, what was the end game here?
Right.
Because I'm telling you, if the internet like really existed, the IWC existed in '93. Oh my God! I don't even want to know the reaction to WrestleMania 9's like main event would be. Like, people would have a meltdown.
Well, I'll tell you, I spent like 2 months saving up to get WrestleMania because that's what I had to do back then, allowance. And uh, yeah, I only had ordered like maybe 2 or 3 pay-per-views before that, but that was the first one. It was really bad, and my guy lost, Brett, and I was furious. I was mad. I was a mad little kid there, and I didn't order like any pay per view for the rest of the year, so I didn't order one until the Royal Rumble 1994. So I was out there. I was like, fuck this. I spent my money on it, and yeah, card subject to change, I guess, but whatever.
Yeah, it's just a lot of things this week that's just been absolutely, or just a lot of things about WrestleMania 9 are just like, ugh, like.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a weird event experiencing it live. Tossing Jim Ross on there for his first show, which was a huge problem for a lot of people because we were fans of Gorilla Monsoon and Heenan, and having this WCW guy come in here with his Southern accent, me talking about a Southern accent, I got a Southern accent, but it was off-putting. It was weird. I mean, the arena, even though it did look cool in retrospect, it was weird. The matches, hardly any of them were any good, except maybe the tag match with the Steiners and the Head Shrinkers. It was just a weird show ending with a bad title switch.
Would you say it's the worst WrestleMania of all time? Because
I haven't seen all of them. But I mean, just based on how I felt as a kid, it still brings up bad, memories. Like, this sucks.
Shift, did you remember the Doinks the Clown kind of moments where they brought up the second one and how?
Yeah, that was cool.
Was that? Yeah.
I like that, but I mean, that's not like a match you're like, oh my god, it's one of the best WrestleMania matches.
No,
ever.
but it was a cool moment. I thought that was a cool moment.
Yeah.
Even the card, like I'm trying to think what were like the standout matches. I mean, because I remember much about Razor Ramon and Bob Backlund. I don't remember much of Tanaka versus Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental Championship. So there's just so many like forgettable matches in this. And then
of course, on that same show you have The Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez.
Yeah, that was horrendous.
I think another problem is it's bookended by 2 better shows. The Royal Rumble 1993, despite what people say about the ending, it was a good show and it had some good undercard matches. But yeah, that was a good event. And then you had King of the Ring, which was an awesome pay-per-view. And that's just it was situated really bad. Also, WrestleMania 9 was just a cluster, or a fluster cluck.
I mean, remember Lex Luger, Mr. Perfect, how they hyped their match for WrestleMania and how that was like huge letdown. That was one of their most anticipated matches on the card.
Yeah, but that was, like you pointed out in the documentary, that was one of the first backstage brawls they had.
Yeah, which was awesome. That was great that they did something, and it was one of the first rehearsals I think they've done too.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really cool.
It was like, see, it's WrestleMania 9's weird for me because, like, again, I wasn't born during that time frame, so maybe my opinion on it isn't necessarily as does not carry a lot of weight when I say it. Is it one of the worst WrestleManias of all time? Yes. Do not get me wrong. It is bad. However, I've also sat through a lot of stinkers during my time as a wrestling fan. So again, it really comes down to perspective here. Like, if someone said it was the worst WrestleMania, I'd say, yeah, you're probably right, because it's not very good. However, watching WrestleMania 32 live, all 4 hours of it, plus the pre-show, it's cool. That might be a conversation for a good old wrestling episode. What is the worst WrestleMania of all time? Because I have some takes.
Don't watch
Well,
WrestleMania 11.
No, that one's bad too.
Well, I don't think it's nearly as bad as 9. 32. See, a lot of the newer ones, they just go right through my head. There's just I can remember moments if you see, hey, this happened here, but they all just merge into like just one huge ball of wrestling. I can't decipher between the ones offhand. It's the ones I grew up with that I can actually remember like a lot of stuff about that when I was really into it, and now
That's
it's
fair.
just like I can't remember like WrestleMania 30. I think that's the last one I really remember everything that went on leading up to it and the show and everything with Daniel Bryan. I think that's a whole nother conversation we could have sometime, because I truly believe that was all set up and he was always going to get that shot. But that's not here nor there. But yeah, that was the last WrestleMania that I was really into and I can remember. So
Speaking of WrestleManias, real quick, I did watch recently WrestleMania 4 during my my 80s retrospective. If you guys want to hear my thoughts on WrestleMania 4 real quick, because I don't
Sure.
So this was WrestleMania 4 in 1988. I gave it out of 5 stars. I gave it a 2 out of 5.
oh
Wow.
really, I like
I
that
did,
one.
yeah. Well, here are my thoughts on it, Shifty. Maybe you'll kind of see my thoughts on it because I have thoughts.
Uh-huh.
Well, the show can at least say that's better than WrestleMania 2. Sadly, that's not really saying much. Look, the show suffers from the same problem as the Wrestling Classic, where a one-night tournament does look good on paper. Unfortunately, it kind of sucks in execution, as this show had 16 matches on the show, and all of them don't really stand out to me. Sure, the Rick Rude and Jake Roberts match was strong, and Macho Man winning the title was the right call, but good God, does this show drag. There's also a bunch of non-tournament matches that are just bleh. Like Ultimate Warrior and Hercules Hernandez, yikes. And also the Bob Uecker and Vanna White stuff just drags way too long. Like when Andre the Giant chokes out Bob Uecker, I want to choke out Bob Uecker at that moment, because I was like, oh my God, we get it about Vanna White. We get it. If you want to see Macho Man's crowning moment and seeing historic things such as Bret Hart's face turn and Demolition winning the tag belts, then check it out. Otherwise, it's just a bleh experience. It's not the worst WrestleMania of all time, but it's kind of one of those WrestleManias that's just more bleh than anything. Nothing crazy, just a very meh show on paper. Also, since the show was in Trump Plaza, they do show our current president in the front row, and when Hogan does his promo before his match with Andre, he praises him very heavily, which I guess is an example of long-term booking if there ever was one. Oh, if only we knew.
Well, I mean, like the only thing we had to go by back in the day, if you didn't see it like the first time when it aired, was like little magazine article write-ups like in like the history of WrestleMania, or like trading cards. So when I got it, or when I rented it at Blockbuster, I enjoyed it because it wasn't something that you could find clips and of on YouTube, and it was all new to me, kind of, and it was still I was still close to the era of when it happened, and I just it was still kind of exciting. It was like, oh, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen here? So I wasn't really watching it for the match quality. I don't think kids really do that. They do it to see who wins and how the story progresses. It was a different thing back then, kind of.
No, I agree with you, Shifty. I'm mainly just judging my stuff just based off of like if I enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
It's like that's why I gave WrestleMania 3 a 4, because if you don't, or a 4 out of 5, because not so much the matches, but just more so everything kind of like coming together as a show. I'm not saying WrestleMania 4 was a bad WrestleMania. It's a show that, because you have to think too, WrestleMania at this time was still in that experimental phase of trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. And WWE or the WWF at the time does perfect the one night tournament thing with the King of the Ring. So this is kind of still around the time of we're trying to figure things out on a national pay-per-view basis. But
they did cram too much into that one. I will admit that.
Yeah, because that was the biggest issue for me, was like, I think if you cut down a couple of the matches or you took some of them off, it really would not hurt anything. Like, I understand why, because they probably want to get as many of the talent as they could on the card, but realistically, there were just certain matches on here that just really did not belong on the show and just felt more like okay, I guess.
We're just trying to make it worth everybody's time to watch WrestleMania 3.
Yeah, that's what it was. I also watched SummerSlam 88 for the first time. I gave, if you want to hear that review real quick, I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Nice.
I said this was the hardest show to grade as far as the first SummerSlam, in my view, is a pretty mixed bag, as there's a lot of things to like about it, but also not a lot of things that don't work for me, in parentheses, brother. The positives are that I can say about the show is that the tag matches, for the most part, are very good. The opener with the Rougeos and the British Bulldogs was a very hot start. I really liked the tag title match between the Hart Foundation and Demolition, which I felt was the best match on the show. And the main event with the Mega Powers and Mega Bucks was good for what they could do. Because, I mean, again, you got Andre who was in there. He wasn't great health-wise. And, you know, they basically tried for what they could. And the subtle hints of the Mega Powers exploding was a nice touch. I did also like the Honky Tonk Man and Ultimate Warrior squash because of how they presented it. And the Rick Rude Cheryl Tights making an appearance here did make me pop a little bit. Unfortunately, though, if you're looking for good singles matches on the show, yeah, you're not going to get them here. The Bad News Brown and Ken Patera match was very sloppy. The finish to JYD and Rick Rude, while it does make sense, did kind of make it feel more of a segment than it was a match. The rest of the singles matches here were just not great, and the commentary from Superstar Billy Graham wasn't great here either. I get they had to have, Jesse Ventura out there for the main event, but I also found the Brother Love and Jim Duggan segment to be kind of weird. Like, I just said, all in all, the matches that did need to delivered, and some were just But even with the issues, the show had it wasn't bad at all. In fact, it's pretty fun, all things considered. Is it my favorite SummerSlam of all time? No, but not a bad start. I recommend it for historical purposes and also just a fun time.
Nice.
Yeah, Brother Love was always weird. I mean, his segments were never good. I mean,
he was a weird fella.
I love you.
I also watched Survivor Series 88. I gave this one also 2 out of 5. I said, okay, so I'm going to keep this review brief. The second Survivor Series was fine, but suffers from the same problems for the first Survivor Series event, where the matches just go on way longer than need be. And of course, since it worked so well the last time, the 20-man tag match here was back. While slightly better than the 1987 one, it's still egregiously long. Other than the show that having important story beats like the continuing hint of the Mega Power split, Mr. Fuji turning on Demolition for the powers of pain, even though that didn't make any sense, and planting the seeds for Andre versus Jake, there really isn't a whole lot here. I would recommend it for the story beats, if nothing else.
Okay.
And then I watched Royal Rumble 1989. I haven't finished WrestleMania 5 yet, but I am close. I think I got like about an hour or so left. I gave the Royal Rumble 1989 a 2.5 out of 5. I said, well, we're finally in the home stretch of these WWF in the 80s watches, as we're now 1 year away before we reach the 90s. But before we do that, we have to cover the 4 pay-per-views of 1989, starting with the second Royal Rumble event, and my God, was this show a mixed bag. I will say the opening 6-man tag was very fun, even though I think Duggan and Dino Bravo were fine here. They didn't bring the match down. In fact, they added to the match a little bit now in hindsight. The Royal Rumble this time around, I think, started to understand what it was, and seeing Demolition facing off as the first two was pretty cool. Plus, seeing the continued build with the Mega Powers exploding in Jake and Andre was also very nice. And seeing face versus face and heel versus heel in the Rumble match itself did make it feel like it was every man for itself. The bodybuilder pose down segment with Ultimate Warrior and Rick Rude was admittedly pretty cheesy, but it did work for establishing their feud for the IC title throughout 1989. Honestly, I know Big John Studd winning here was kind of weird, especially with the talent that was in the Rumble match itself, but honestly, it was fine, and DiBiase bumping for him made the final two more fun than it probably should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the middle of the card wasn't great. The women's title match was very clunky and bleh, and it wasn't as good as the women's tag title match from the previous event. And the Harley Race and Haku match sounds really interesting on paper, but since it was heel versus heel here, the crowd was just dead, and despite some really good spots, it just came out very dull.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, it's not a bad show, but honestly, not as good as the previous Royal Rumble event. I would say if you want to watch it, I would recommend it again for the storytelling and build up to WrestleMania 5. I'm very harsh, and I'm a very hard man to please.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
You know who else is hard to please? The WWE PR department, apparently, because oh god. Can WWE needs to either hire a new PR person, or the PR person that is whoever it is over there needs to be fired immediately. Because, good lord, this is a situation where I feel like people need, like wrestlers, people who work there need to have their mouth stapled or something. Because, oh man, well, I guess we could start with the first thing here. So Triple H, basically, he did a couple of interviews. Well, actually, no, let's start off with this, because this was kind of something that I've seen on Twitter a lot. It seems like Roman Reigns and Triple H got very political. Because, that's the one thing you should do when you're discussing a big-time wrestling show. And that's politics. Of course, why wouldn't you? They got a lot of feedback. They got a lot of backlash for it. So I'm going to address this here and now. I don't give a fuck what your politics are. Like, I'm not going to judge you based off of who you like and who you support, because I feel like if you do that, you're going to shit on most of the wrestlers, because I'm pretty sure most of the wrestlers are going to swing that way. Not saying all of them, but most. And I'm pretty sure most of that company, especially knowing who they're owned by and who they're affiliated with, you kind of know they're going to swing a certain way. So I don't care about, who you support or whatever, but on the same token, you really need to keep your mouth shut. And why are you answering questions like that? Because once you do that, you're going to piss off the fan base, right? And I'm just going to say this right now too. If you're some of the fan base that are like, oh, like I'm not going to support these wrestlers, like, I mean, it's your prerogative, but I'm not. I guess the word for it is just I feel like it's just people being stupid all around. Like, I don't know who's asking these questions, but these wrestlers really need to stop taking the bait, and they just really need to keep quiet about these things. Because, yeah, it's just not a good look. Especially when your build to WrestleMania has been great, and Triple H also made other comments that really didn't sit well with some people. It's just not a good look. I would say I always say this about entertainment in general, just keep politics out of it. Don't even talk about politics. It's just, because then you just leave a bad taste in people's mouths, and it's...
Yeah. I mean, it goes for any entertainer.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You just keep your mouth shut. You're there to sell a product. You're not there to push your politics on anybody. You're going to be polarizing half the fan base or your potential customers. by airing your beliefs or whatever. And then there's the people who are like, well, if they don't say something, then I won't support it. Well, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Either way,
Right.
But you just need to just shut up and do your job, and just keep politics out of it. You're there to sell a product.
I agree. Like, I feel like there was a way you could have easily, if they asked you, hey, what do you think about this? You could easily just say, hey, look, I'm not here to talk about that. Like, it's not something I'm going to say, like, in an interview, because it's realistically, it's none of your, it's personally, if I was a wrestler, I'd say, look, it's none of your business.
And you edit that stuff out. You got to,
Yeah.
because you cannot leave it in, because sometimes they'll get you with something like, do you support these type of people or these type of things? And if you don't say anything, then that it paints you as someone that is opposed to that stuff. So you gotta have a good PR team and somebody there that can control the interview. But if you're doing a junket, man, if somebody says something on the fly, you're kind of screwed. You gotta find a way to wiggle out of those type of situations. But there's some questions. If they get you on the spot and they ask you something like that, you're fucked.
I mean, some of those junkets, it's either already scripted, they already know what they're going to ask them. Sometimes they won't go in blind. If they know they're going to go in blind, they won't do the junket interview.
Yeah, but
They're being very careful now. Like, for example. Yep, go ahead.
At some point after one of them shows, at some point somebody's going to be like, I don't care if I get fired. I'm going to ask something really hot button issue here, and they won't ever come back. But they're going to ask something, and it's going to be an awkward situation.
Yeah, it's just not a good look. And then Triple H, segueing into that real quick, like Triple H then kind of, I don't know what really spurred this on. I don't know if it's just because the IWC and people like us are like, wow, the build of WrestleMania has not been very good, which I'm going to keep saying it wasn't very good. He basically just went off on the online wrestling fans almost. And he was just like, oh, we don't listen to the fans on the internet. We focus on we focus on the fans in the buildings, which, okay. Again, it's the way he worded it. Like, I think it's the way he also was like, oh, well, we don't listen to online fans. I agree with him in the sense of, yes, you want to listen to the fans in the arena first, but let's not pretend that the internet wrestling fans don't exist. And let's not pretend that Triple H does not listen to them.
I mean, he contradicts himself.
He does. Yeah. He did. It's
but, this isn't the first time he's went on this rant. He did that famous, infamous promo on Raw where he's like, if I don't like this, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get on the internet and I'm going to talk to my friend Mark and I'm going to tell him how pissed off I am at the wrestling show.
That is true, but again, it does contradict himself though in a way, because I'm pretty sure last time I checked, he did say, oh yeah, we listen to them and we do this, that, and this, and now he's going on here going, oh well, they complain too much and we don't listen to them. It's like, come on.
Well, that I think a lot of people are triggered by that last line. He's like, I wish I could tell those people to fuck off and just watch the show. He's like, don't be a critic, be a fan. But it's hard to be a fan sometimes. It is, especially back in the McMahon era. It was hard to be a fan. A lot of those 2010s. It was hard to be a fan.
That was one of those years too.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, he's got to understand. The reason why we keep watching is because we love it, like a sports team. We love it. We want them to get better, but sometimes they're just crap.
Right. I mean, just going back to we don't listen to the internet. You did last year and you pivot the main event match to Cody versus Roman instead of Roman versus Rock. So it's like you're really like, which one is it? You'll listen to him when you feel like you have to listen to him, or you'll listen to him, or you don't want to listen to him. Like, which one is it? So it's just he makes himself look really bad, and it's one of those things where like in other interviews and other stuff he's done, he's just never prepared for those questions. He doesn't have, like you said, like to stop it. He doesn't have a good PR team to tell him like this is how you got to respond to these things. Where Cody, at least especially the Vince McMahon stuff last year when Cody was asked about it, Cody gave a really good EVP executive producer's response to that situation where Triple H just kind of, I don't want to talk about that now.
Yeah, it's just not a good look. And to go back to the whole last year thing, like yes, I could understand Triple H's argument, like, oh, we really weren't going to do it until like, because realistically, it wasn't until the fans in the arenas and the audiences were like, oh, we want Cody. Like, then I could be like, okay, I could maybe understand where he's coming from, but that chant would not have started without that internet wrestling fan base.
Right.
Because they were the ones that started that whole "we want Cody" thing. It's like, because trust me, if we're really gonna go there, right? If the people on the internet were complaining about it, but the fans in the arena were not chanting "we want Cody" and instead they wanted The Rock versus Roman, then by Triple H's logic, Rock and Roman would have happened last year.
Yeah.
It's like it's just weird. Like, I don't know. It's almost like as if Triple H he must just be really pissed off about the whole WrestleMania build and people shitting on it, because it's like, yikes.
I just wonder if he has any complaints about John Cena and the way he turned heel. And if he was like forced just to go in with that because Cena is such a big star, and the company really, Comcast and NBC really pushed him to get his fame back, his movie star career back, and all. And he's their pet project. And I wonder if he had really no control over the match and what Cena was doing as he turned heel, because. That is what should have drove the show and the excitement. Cena finally turning heel, and it's been such a bomb.
Well, in an interview he did this week, I think called Performance or something, some like fitness podcast, he went out and said that it was his idea to turn John Cena's heel and like go with this gimmick, which was give them nothing. Now, I don't know if that's true, if he's just trying to protect John Cena and taking the heat, but like that was something he went out and said in an interview he gave this week.
I truly think everything, a lot, I know there's a lot of things that they did wrong, but a lot of it falls on the shoulders of John Cena and him being just mediocre. I think this kind of exposed him. And he's been exposed many times before. I never did like him. I don't like him now. And I thought the turn was good, cool. And I thought maybe finally he's going to do something, but no. But they prepare for it because they know, that like you just said, they protect him. They gave him the lines like, "You'll never be satisfied." No, we will never be satisfied because you suck. You've always sucked. I mean, you can wrestle halfway decent, and you carry the company when back in the day when they needed him because he was a dependable guy. But there's just always been something missing from him, and he's the reason this WrestleMania kind of sucks for the most part. I think.
I mean, if you really think about it,
I'm sorry to Sean if you're listening.
If you really think about it, John Cena has always been a heel. So I mean, I guess this just tracks.
Yeah.
So but continuing with WWE's PR disaster from the week from hell. So then Nick Khan, I guess, came out. He's like, yeah, fuck AEW pretty much. Or he was like, yeah, fuck Tony Khan. Like, he's like, yeah, I respect his dad, but realistically, just fuck Tony Khan. We don't like him. And I'm like, well, I kind of figured that, but why are we doing this now? Like, you could have done this at any time during the last, like, you could have done this at any time that wasn't this time of the year. Like, please, can we not? Like, keep in mind, Tony Khan and AEW are not innocent in this either because they've taken, like, pot shots at them. But it's like, really? Come on.
Yeah.
And then, of course, to make matters worse, of course, why wouldn't it be? John Cena then came out and was like, yeah, I still love Vince McMahon. Despite everything. But even then, it's like, we already know he did. Like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
again, it's not news, but at the same time, it's like, read the fucking room. Like, not the time here, John, please. Like, we get it. We know you owe your career towards this man, but for the love of God, after this week in particular, can people just please stop talking for like 5 seconds? Like, at least let's take a breather real quick and start thinking to ourselves, maybe this is not the right time to be saying shit like this. Because it's bad, but even like CM Punk is like the more mature one here. Like,
well, is he? I mean, he is, but he was telling the fans to fuck off today. He was like, he's like, am I going to be worried about somebody in the company saying, they support this guy or this politician? He goes, no, y'all can fuck off. The people have their beliefs and stuff.
Well, so, I'd say Punk's is more tame because he's not saying he's not just telling fans, "Oh, fuck you." Like, he's not going, "Oh, I'm going to choke you out my bare hands." It's just like, no.
The idea,
Yeah. Like, from what you're saying on that, Shifty, it doesn't look great, but when you understand the context of it, he's not saying anything that's particularly bad, because he's basically just saying, look, to the people that are saying, "Oh, you need to leave this company because your beliefs don't support the company's beliefs." He's like, that's stupid. Why would I do that? Because in both companies,
he's still got heat for it.
Yeah, it's but just stupid. It's just very stupid because he didn't say anything wrong. Like, this is one of those situations where it was the right response. He's like, look, I don't care who you support. I'm just here to fucking work and make money, pretty much.
You just can't say anything on the internet. I think it's if I was running a wrestling company, I would be like, hey, if we're paying you, and you just got to get off social media. Unless we're behind it and we script it, you just got to get off social media. And I know that goes against me saying the girls should have their OnlyFans or whatever if they want to make some extra money. But I mean, it's still. I mean, if it's something that's going to cost the company money or enrage the fans, certain fans or whatever, or hurt the storylines and the character progression, just stay off the internet.
Right.
That's pretty much it. And you know what? It's just been, I don't know. Like, it's just, I feel like they're just things you just shouldn't say and talk about. And I do think wrestling fans need to get the fuck over it, because realistically, does it affect our daily lives? No. Is it harming anything? No. Not that we know of. So, again, so what? Who cares? Just, if anything, I want to complain about fucking just the overall structuring and scheduling and the overall prices for WrestleMania, because I feel like that's more egregious than what the wrestlers are talking about. Like, like, don't let this distract from the real problems here. You got WrestleMania tickets astronomically high. If I'm saying that word correctly, I'm probably not, but I don't care. You have the Hall of Fame starting at 1 a.m. in the morning.
Good God.
Or like,
I don't understand it.
Whoever scheduled this are psychopaths.
Now, we talked about this backstage, and so I want to do the rant here. Like, I really want to watch the Hall of Fame. I always do. But I'm going to be dead asleep by 1 o'clock, and that's insane. And I just don't understand. Are they going to do it at the same venue as SmackDown? Are they going to come back to the venue, or is it going to be a new venue? Because last year, one of the main complaints was it was on too late after SmackDown, and people were filing out during Bull Nakano's induction, which was super. That was just totally shitty. For them to put her in a position where the fans would do that, but the fans had no choice. It was pushing midnight. And I just, man, they don't know what they're doing. They need to space these things out. do other venues, or just move the Hall of Fame to a different point of the year. Do it at SummerSlam if you can't fit it in. And then you excuse me,
Sorry.
I'm sorry, but then Austin mentioned, the NXT pay per views at 9:30 a.m. in the morning. They don't know what they're doing.
The scheduling is just ass backwards.
What I was gonna say is they should just do it since now WrestleMania is now 2 nights and it used to be on a Saturday. Just move it to Thursday night before SmackDown, and then just have like a pre-recording right after SmackDown or something so people can watch it or whatever they want to do. Just do it something sooner. That way you just, it's like the start. It's like the day one of WrestleMania weekend. So
it's just too much.
It is.
It's way too real. And again, the NXT pay-per-view, why are we doing it at 9:30 in the morning if you're gonna have the Hall of Fame at 1 a.m.? I'm sorry, are you fucking crazy?
And then you have all these independent shows, if you're there in town, that are running in between all this stuff or at the same time. So it's crazy.
This was just way too much and poor time management and scheduling. I don't know who did all this, but whoever did needs to be decked in the face. There is no way. It's just abhorrent to me. It really is. No offense, I'm not watching the Hall of Fame because it's too late. If anything, I'll watch it tomorrow. But even then, it's because then you got the NXT show, which I probably won't watch because it's at 9:30 a.m. and it just depends on when I get up and if I feel like it. It's just there, and then not to mention you have WrestleMania Night 1. I think the show starts at 6, but the pre-show starts at 4.
Correct.
So I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, what in the actual hell is going on here? This is, and then wait, hang on. I just got to see when. I just want to make sure I'm getting my times right.
It's just very oversaturated with everything during WrestleMania time. It's just figure out what's going to work, what you want out there, and then try to mitigate the rest that you don't need.
Yeah.
NXT has no business being around during WrestleMania weekend.
Apparently, WrestleMania 41 starts at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Are you fucking kidding me? Please tell me that's a joke.
Yeah, I may be zoned out by then because I really don't care about the triple threat. I don't care a lot about WrestleMania this year. I don't know.
WrestleMania 41.
And with, I know that everybody's not into The Last of Us, but I forgot that was during at the same night as WrestleMania.
7 p.m. But the pre-show starts at 4?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just recaps and stuff. It's recaps and stuff, probably. I hope. I don't know.
Oh my
I don't think
God.
they're going to stick a match in there. They don't do matches during the pre-show anymore. So I mean,
this
you don't have to watch it.
Psychotic. Why? For what reason? Please, someone explain. It's poor time management. And especially when your show is going to go for so long. I really hope WrestleMania does not go longer than it needs to be, because if it goes on for a really late time, I'm going to be pissed.
Supposedly the runtime is going to be from 7 p.m. to 12 midnight.
Oh.
So.
They can't do that Saturday. They can't.
I mean, the thing is, you have
Sunday,
right
the next day.
Because night 1 you have 7 matches, and night 2 you have 6.
Why did he do that? That makes no sense. I swear to God, this is going to be one of the least watched WrestleMania. It could be because like I said, Easter Sunday, and you're doing all that on the Saturday night before, and people just want to get up because it's for some people, this is one of the few times they actually go to church during the year, that Christmas. Right. And yeah, that's the bad timing.
I just wonder if they're banking on the matches to be really good, even though there's no build up to it.
I don't know. This is, Like I'm telling you right now, not only could this be one of the least watched WrestleManias, it potentially, it could be the least grossing WrestleMania because not a lot of people are gonna go. Like, let's call it for what it is.
Can you pull up the tickets? I mean, what's the ticket situation right now? Have they sold out?
I don't
I don't
know.
think so. I think they have like 3,000 left or something. They haven't. I mean,
Wow.
they probably hit 100,000 by now or close to it, and they'll probably announce they're over 100,000. But last I checked, I think last week, and they were at 5,000 still available for a combination of both nights.
Yet after the show, Triple H will be like, "This was the highest grossing gate for WrestleMania ever."
Oh no, you know what? Actually, no. I think it's gonna be 7 matches each because Randy is facing somebody at WrestleMania.
Right. That's true.
Could be Nick Aldis, could be somebody else. It could be Solo Sikoa for all we know.
Ew.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
Just give me Nick Aldis. Give him his moment. I'm fine with Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton. There's already built up to that anyways.
It's either that or Black.
It could be him. It could be Rusev, maybe.
Yeah, but I don't think they put Rusev over Orton.
It's probably gonna be Nick Aldis.
Yeah,
that makes the most sense.
Still, I would like to see Black in his entrance and the lights go out.
It's just this WrestleMania is just a mess.
Yeah.
Like, good God. I mean, is there anything else we want to talk about here before we talk about the predictions? Because, oh God.
I did read that Lana signed a Legends deal with WWE about 2 hours ago.
Really?
Legends? That's interesting.
A Legends deal.
I guess so they could, if they put Rusev in, she can appear as, his manager in the video games.
It's possible. That's very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
Probably won't be Solo. Well, maybe it could be Solo Sunday night. Solo's having a match tonight with LA Knight.
Oh God! If Solo faces Randy at WrestleMania, what are we doing here?
I doubt it because this will be Solo's 27th losing streak.
It's like he had what has he done to justify a WrestleMania match? Can we just be real here for a second? What if he does? What is he like? It's not believable anymore. You can't believe he's going to beat a guy like Randy Orton because he loses to everybody. I don't get it. I don't understand this company sometimes.
He's just a jobber now. I mean, I think that's what they're using him as. They've already tried to make him a main event. They tried to make him a mid card. They tried everything with him and it just didn't work.
Yeah, nothing's working.
He needs a complete new makeover, repackage, or whatever. It's just not working with the Solo character anymore.
There's just nothing. There's nothing to him. But you know what? I think it's time to talk about the WrestleMania predictions because, oh God, there's 14 matches and Shifty's got to defend the predictions championship for the first time, and he's got a mountain to climb with 14 matches.
So you just tell me the match and I'll get to get
all right.
stuff ready.
Let's start with night 1 because I feel like I think we'll just go in order here. We'll start with Gunther and Jay since that's opening the pay-per-view up.
Okay. There you go.
So Jay and Gunther. I mean, this is opening the show, so potentially this could be good because I know Gunther and Jay had a really good match on Saturday night's main event. The build to this match wasn't very good up until the last couple weeks. As far as who's going to win here, realistically, I'm going with Jay here. Because, again, with everything they've done up to this point, if Jay doesn't win here, his singles push is over pretty much. Because...
yeah.
It would be a waste. So...
Yeah.
That's who I'm going with. Because like I just don't see them doing a DQ finish. Like I don't see them doing something stupid. I just think it's just going to be a clean. Like Gunther's going to dominate most of the match, and Jay's going to get the comeback, and he's going to find a way to win, do the underdog babyface win, and the crowd's going to start. It's going to start the show off hot. So I think Jay wins.
Yep.
What does everybody else think?
I think the same thing. Do you think there's going to be interference from Jimmy?
Yeah, I think they will to protect Gunther because Gunther's the more talented wrestler.
Yeah,
he's a big heel. Like you got to protect the champion or yeah.
I'd say Jimmy will come out and like distract Gunther or something.
Okay, so we're all in agreement that Jay is going to win the title.
Yes.
So I'm still back and forth with it because I do feel like Jay's lost some flair, some aura. Like to me, I just see him now more as a mascot that comes right outside, comes out, does his thing, says yeet, and that's really all he's doing now. He's not really like some of the promos he's had. It's just he's not really talking. It's just yeet this, yeet that, and just vibe with him. It's just like a mascot doing stuff. It's just. And I'm kind of worried if this match is even going to be good because Jay, Jimmy had a bad match last year, and I'm just curious to see, I just feel like Gunther's going to carry the match where I think Jay might win it, but I just don't see him being champion for too long. I feel like he'll win, he'll have his moment with him and his brother, and then
transitional.
Yeah.
Transitional champion.
Yeah, transitional.
So you're going to go with Jay?
I'm picking Jay to win just because he's the babyface, and I think that we need if he wins, I think that means Cody's going to lose to John Cena because you can't have two baby faces winning tomorrow night because that's the other dilemma I have.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to go with Gunther. I'll go with Gunther.
Oh, okay.
I'll change it. I'll take Gunther.
Okay. All right, Gunther.
All right. So 2 for Jay, 1 for Gunther. So next up, we have War Raiders versus the New Day for the World Tag Titles. I don't really remember. I don't really know the build up to this match very well. If I'm just gonna go off of kind of what I think, I mean, realistically, the New Day heel run has so far been very disappointing, especially with the way they set it up. If they don't win the belts here, I really don't know what else you really do with them. I guess the New Day win here, but I'm not confident in this pick. So I'm just gonna say New Day wins because I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, it's like what was the heel turn for if it doesn't pay off, but then you would have 2 title changes right in a row, and how often do they do that? I don't know.
They don't do it often. I'm just going off of like real.
It's still that's they've been faces for so long. They got to have a payoff for something like this.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of thinking, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that maybe Big E might come out and do something, but I don't know. I haven't really followed the storyline building up to this, so I don't know what could happen. I just
That's fair. I'm just going with New Day because it's like at this point, I realistically I could see the War Raiders retaining here, but it's the tag titles, so I don't know. Like it's one of those titles that you'll probably guarantee it could be a title change. So I'm just gonna say New Day, but I could be wrong here. So
it may be a squash match,
Yeah.
I got New Day with Big E interfering. The thing with New Day is that they're missing Big E. It's not New Day without Big E with the 3 of them. it's just missing that third person. And I think Big E, even if he's just playing a manager or something, just to help that momentum with their heel turn. Like they just need a third member with that New Day. It's just not the same without three members part of New Day.
Big E
Yeah.
with a manager
Yeah.
swerve.
So you think
That'd be interesting.
So you going to go with the interference, Austin?
I mean, I'm not gonna go with the interference. I just think it's gonna be.
Okay.
I think they're just gonna. I think the New Day are gonna win via shenanigans, but I don't think Big E's gonna interfere.
Okay.
This WrestleMania needs some excitement. Like I'm just trying to figure out some excitement ideas for 41. Because
Yeah.
right now it's just been like it's just a shit show.
Yeah.
Massive shit show.
Like this is how like my predictions are more like how I would book these matches and what would happen, and
Yeah.
like that's how I see them as not just as predictions, but just like some stipulation or something to get people excited to talk about WrestleMania, make it feel like a WrestleMania and not a PLE or something, or just another PLE.
Yeah, this just feels like a very like weird card. Like this almost feels like a super card for like a Raw or SmackDown, not like a WrestleMania card. So it's just a clusterfuck. Next up we got Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano. Yeah, remember when we were gonna take Chad Gable seriously? Yeah, I sure don't.
Chad Gable, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you're right. Oy vey. Does anybody care at this point? No.
I mean,
Good.
this is. I mean, I would like to see what this new guy has. I mean, they putting a rookie up against. Well, technically a rookie. I mean, he's just coming into WWE. I'd like to see what he's got up against Rey Mysterio. I just think that it sucks that they're keeping Chad off the card because, like I said, he's had such a good year. I mean, you would think they would put him on WrestleMania, but
I know.
no.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
Triple H's booking is weird sometimes. I don't know.
I don't know who. I like. They brought in this unknown guy, El Grande Americano, to face Rey Mysterio. It's a little weird. I don't know if I would have put him up in this. They must have real confidence in this guy if they're going to keep Chad Gable off the card and put this guy in.
I think he'll still show up though.
Yeah, he'll show up in some capacity. I don't know. I'm just gonna go Rey. I'm gonna go with Rey Mysterio here because I don't think the feud's gonna last much longer. So I don't know if an El Grande Americano, because I think they're gonna do like I think that during the match they're gonna have like El Grande Americano unmasked and they're gonna have like a little payoff here. Because like I really hope they don't stretch this out way longer than it needs to. I'm just gonna say Rey Mysterio wins and then just move on.
Yeah.
This match should have been called, a mask versus mask type match. Like, just whoever wins pulls the person's mask off. Because they're gonna reveal who it is. It's like you should just call this a mask versus mask match or something. Some kind of stipulation to make it more like we know what people are expecting. So let's just make the obvious an actual match. Rey Mysterio wins this match. Americanos, we know it's going to be Chad Gable after he takes the mask off, and they'll create some kind of half-ass moment.
Blasphemy.
What? Wait a minute. What?
And that match will probably last. This match will last like 8 minutes. I see this being a quick match.
This is like, I don't believe you guys. Chad Gable's Americana. What? No way. No way, man.
Blasphemous, I know. So who are you going for, Shifty? Americano or Rey?
Rey. I do think Chad may show up. He'll be sitting in the audience or something, probably.
Yeah, probably. Might be sitting in the box seats. We don't know. Okay, so I think everybody went for Rey here. Then we got Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Now, I will say, out of all the builds so far, this is probably unironically one of the stronger ones, and I think it's actually the first women's match at a WrestleMania that doesn't involve a title in a very long time. So that's going to have something to it. But just the whole Naomi heel turn and just everything Naomi's done with her character leading into WrestleMania, I think has been very good. Like Naomi's really stood out here, and Jade's done her part well. This one, I think ultimately though, I think Jade's gonna end up winning here because it's going to be because it is Jade's first one-on-one match at a WrestleMania, so I don't think Naomi's gonna win here. As much as I would like Naomi to win, but realistically, if I have to be like totally kind of transparent here, I think Jade's gonna end up beating Naomi. And it could be a sleeper match. We don't know. This could unironically be a good match. So, which I hope it is. But with the build and all this being one of the stronger builds, I'm just gonna say Jade wins here, and they might continue the feud. They might not. We'll see.
She kind of has to, Jade. I mean, because she's got a lot of critics. And, they brought her in, and she was like a big time deal. And, this is her finally, being given her wings and going out on her own without Bianca Belair to cover for her. So I think she's going to get the win, and they're going to try to give her a nice little push here. We'll see what happens after WrestleMania.
Obviously got Jade winning this match, but I feel like there should have been a street fight match or some kind of stipulation, just to make it more interesting. But I'm hoping this is a good match, at least a surprisingly good match, because Naomi's worked really hard with a new heel gimmick. She's giving you a lot of like this whole different Naomi, which is great. I would like to see her at least have some kind of back and forth, battle with Jade in the ring. Like, I don't want to see Jay come in and squash Naomi. I want to see something to show there's some challenge or adversity for Jay to earn that win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think we're all in agreement. I think Jade wins here. I think.
Yep.
So everyone says Jade, and then we got the U.S. title match. We got LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. And I'm saying this right now. If Jacob Fatu doesn't win, I'm going to be furious. Because Jacob Fatu rules. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Jacob Fatu wins. Because he's a beast.
Well, I haven't been paying attention. Could Solo, cost him the belt and they feud?
It's possible, but I really hope they don't do that, because if they do that, that's just going to be kind of dumb. I don't know. I understand, okay, they gave the belt to LA Knight back recently, but come on. I feel like LA Knight this time around, I don't know. I really just want Jacob to win, because I really don't. Because if LA Knight drops the belt here, though, too, it just comes off as more he was a transitional champion. But I don't know. This one's kind of weird. This one I could see going either way. Again, kind of like Rones, I'm just kind of judging it based off how I would book it, and I want Jacob to win the belt here. So I'm going with Jacob Fatu.
All right. Will there be interference at all?
I hope not. I don't want to see interference. Oh, sorry, Austin.
No, I was gonna say I really hope not, because I want to see Jacob Fatu just win by himself, because I feel like he could. So
okay.
I like LA Knight a lot. His popularity is still there. He had a huge pop in when they were in Italy, so the fans are still behind him. I think for me, I want to see Jacob Fatu win it, and I want him to win in a way where, LA Knight is selling Jacob Fatu as this next big, intimidating thing. I want to see Jacob Fatu just tear him apart and just show just how strong, menacing, and just really, really help Jacob Fatu, because LA Knight is a popular cat. He's popular. He's a big baby face. This would be a good opportunity to really showcase Jacob Fatu and just how, this guy's on another level than LA Knight. Just kind of, I almost call it a squash match, but I would say just really like just throw LA Knight around, just show him that he's not on your level at this moment or something. Just I really want to see Jacob Fatu really like just show that he's on a different level.
Agreed.
And I like LA Knight. I just think that I'm sorry. I just think that like they gotta do something more with him just than just having him in the mid card. Like you gotta figure out where he's going next. I think after this, I could see him maybe cross over to Raw and or maybe with John Cena at some point, have a match with John Cena. But I do feel like this is the time to really like, drop the belt and then really give Jacob Fatu his moment at WrestleMania.
I think this could go either way because you got the Money in the Bank coming up, and LA Knight could win that. But at the same time, if I'm a booker, I want to maximize my roster, and like I said, I think if you're going to pull the trigger on Solo versus, Jacob, this probably would be the time to cost them. Like I said, I haven't watched the build up, so I don't really know where they're at if they have a fracture in their relationship. But I think I would pull the trigger on Solo, costing him the match, and then they go off, and then you could have LA Knight, go into a program with somebody else for the U.S. title. Because you do have a couple of guys coming in. You got Rusev and Aleister Black, so you could do something with them to get them back into the limelight of the WWE. So I'm going to go with LA Knight retaining, and Solo will interfere.
Okay. So far, more diverse picks than the Elimination Chamber one, I will say.
Yep.
All right. So next up here we have Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair.
Oh boy.
Oh God. Talk about a feud. Wow.
Most exciting match of the car on night one is those two, just because of them going off script. That they did a great job, really making people interested and care about their match.
Yeah,
but in a good way though, or a bad way?
In a good way, because you don't know what they're gonna do we don't know what they're gonna do in their match, and just how realistic they can make everything happen. Because these two hate each other.
I agree with that, but at the same time though, I feel like the finish to this match is going to determine like how the company feels about that, because on the one hand, you have the person you want to build up in Tiffany Stratton versus somebody who's already an established talent in Charlotte Flair, and she just came back, and then now all this stuff's going on. It makes you wonder if this was all planned or if this was completely off script, which I think it could be off script. This one could go either way, in my opinion. I'm going to have to. I don't know, because like I think Charlotte might win here. There's a big part of me that believes that's going to happen, because Charlotte lost at the last WrestleMania she was at, and I think I want to be wrong here. I want Tiffany to win because I really like her, but I think Charlotte's going to somehow squeak away with the win here. So
I think there's no question about it. I think Charlotte's going to win. I think her career is winding down. I think that they want to go ahead and hurry up and give her the extra title win so she can match her dad or beat him. I think if I was WWE, I would give that to her instead of Cena, the honor. I think she's definitely going to win. I like Tiffany. I love Tiffany, but I think she's going to. I think Charlotte's going to win. It's set in stone.
I got Tiffany Stratton win this one. I just think that Charlotte doesn't need it. She wasn't ready to really come back this soon. I think the worst part about this, I got a feeling this could be one of the worst matches on the card, because I don't think she's ready for a singles match.
Okay.
It's
Tiffany
possible.
Stratton.
And who'd you pick, Austin?
I said Charlotte's going to win.
Okay.
This is one of those things where I miss Vince McMahon. Sorry, Shifty.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where
I
Vince
would agree
McMahon,
with
the
you.
manager, because he pushed the next talent because he always thought long term plan, long term for the company, and what was best for business was to really have the popular characters or the popular wrestlers or just the people who've have already done everything. Now it's time for them to give back and to help the next set of wrestlers that's gonna carry the company in the future. And Tiffany's one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That.
I agree.
Oh boy.
I agree, but I still think man, I think that they're going to try to rush to get Charlotte out because I don't know, and plus it goes into like her appearance keeps changing every time she comes back, and it's like I don't know, I don't want to go too far into that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just been it's the weird thing, and Charlotte will probably win. And because I kind of agree with Shifty, like at this point, like Charlotte's been out with injury like so far lately more than she is like around. So we don't know how long she's gonna be around. So I could see them putting the belt on Charlotte here just to put it on Charlotte. Okay, so then the end night one, we have the main event, of course. The triple threat between Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. Should the match have main evented the show? Again, that still remains to be seen. We'll watch WrestleMania, and then when we come back next week, we'll talk about whether or not this should have main evented. But I can understand build-wise. We'll go, oh, you kind of have to have this main event because it's three of the biggest talents. But again, we'll talk about it. Because again, if the match isn't good, then I'll tell you, yeah, flat out no. But if the match is good, maybe I'm wrong. But this one could go either way. I will say the build is also very good here. Surprisingly. See, the obvious choice would be Seth, but I don't know because I feel like they're gonna do because like CM Punk winning here just seems way too that would be way too predictable. I think Seth. I'm gonna say I think Roman's probably gonna win here because I think Roman because I just don't buy this whole Paul Heyman split at all. Unless Paul Heyman, because I think this is just an elaborate scheme for Roman to get the win here. So I think Roman's going to win, especially since he lost to Cody last year at WrestleMania in the main event. I think Roman's going to get his main event win back. And, especially since Roman's going to break the all-time WrestleMania main event record, I think Roman will more than likely win.
Go ahead, Rams.
Oh, okay. I guess so. The only reason these three guys are wrestling because they're available for that night. And they just didn't know what to do with them. I think Seth Rollins is going to win it, and I think that Paul Heyman is going to screw Roman and CM Punk and walk away with Rollins.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. I think that's the only way you can go because everybody wants CM Punk to win. Everybody kind of feels that oh no, they'll give it to Reigns, but I mean, what's the one thing they can do that's different? Who's the guy that Heyman's never been with? What would be the big twist? There you go. Rollins walking out with Heyman. That's who I'm going with too.
I do feel there got to be some kind of stipulation with whoever wins this because I feel like whoever wins this is going to interfere in the Cody Rhodes and John Cena match at night 2.
Yeah, that is what I'm thinking, and that's why I'm going to be talking about it. I do agree with you. I think that something is going to interfere in that, but we'll talk about it. So, uh, s- so I think you both said Seth. I said Roman, I believe.
Yeah, I said Seth Rollins.
Very
Yep.
good. Very. All right. All right. So then we're heading into night 2, and we're going to start with the match that's going to open night 2, and that's Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Um, this is a match that probably should have been Rhea Bianca, but hey, it's very awesome to see Io Sky involved, especially as the champion. I think this match could potentially be very good here. This might be This could be match of the weekend because I love all 3 talents involved. As far as who wins here, I mean, I think Io is going to retain just because I think with the story they're telling, it would not make a lot of sense for them to treat Io as second thought and then have her drop the belt. Because if they do that, then Io looks terrible and everything leading up to this point kind of feels moot, and you might as well just done a singles match. So I'm going to go with Io Sky retains the Women's World Championship because, we love Io. I love Io, and I hope everybody else does too.
I like Io a lot.
I think.
Sorry. Go ahead, Shifty. Sorry.
You go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I like Io a lot, especially with what she was wearing. I think 2 Raws ago, where she was just wearing like nothing. You saw full cheeks. But I got Bianca winning this one. She's 2-0 at WrestleMania. I would love to see him quietly start another streak with one of the lady wrestlers just to get something going again for WrestleMania. I got Bianca Belair winning this match.
Yeah, I got to go with Bianca because I think eventually you're going to have Cargill going up against Bianca, and they're going to do something there. And they'll probably pull a swerve where maybe she was in on the attack from Naomi. But I think the wild card is Kyrie Sane because she is working out like crazy, and she's going to appear here pretty soon, probably at WrestleMania or on the Raw after, SmackDown. And she could turn on EO or she could help her. I don't know. It all depends on what they do solo and stuff. I don't think they're going to have a lot of people, all of a sudden turn on their partners. But I think the wild card is definitely Kyrie Sane. But yeah, I'm going to go with Bianca.
Okay, so 2 for Bianca, 1 for Io.
Do you think there's going to be interference?
No.
No.
I think there will be.
Right.
I think there'll be interference. Yeah, either Naomi or Jade Cargill's going to interfere in this match because they're still doing something on SmackDown with Naomi and Jade and Bianca.
Alrighty.
Could be possible.
You know what? I'm gonna change my prediction. It's gonna be Bianca winning this match with Naomi coming out to help Bianca win. Thinking about it now, that makes the most sense of how she wins and how Rhea and Io are protected.
Bianca coming out to help Bianca win.
Naomi coming out to help Bianca win.
Okay. All right. So either way, there's going to be interference. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next match.
Next up, we got the women's tag team title match. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley and women's intercontinental champion Lyra Valkyria. And I'm going to emphasize she's the women's intercontinental champion because she's the intercontinental champion, if you all remember. Because, yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, I don't.
Picture.
Oh, picture, yes. Wow, she's not even on the promotional poster. She doesn't even have the IC belt. Wow. Yeah, does anybody care here? I mean, this could be okay. I guess Liv and Raquel are gonna retain because I don't know.
They're not going to give Lyra 2 belts.
No.
No.
So are we all in agreement here that Liv and Raquel are retaining?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like they're more exciting to watch. They're more charismatic. I like what they've done with Liv and Raquel. I mean, I think this is great for Raquel being with Liv. There's something being rubbed off for Raquel. The whole thing between the two of them, I think, is just really great dynamic. I've watched a lot of them on Raw. They've worked out as a pair. Liv has had an incredible year last year, being women's champion, being a big heel, really doing a lot of things that really helped elevated her career as a women's wrestler, and I'm glad that they have her back in somewhere in WrestleMania wrestling.
Agreed.
Will there be interference in the match?
No.
No, I don't see anything. Maybe Dom shows up, but that's too predictable.
Okay.
All right. So next match, we got AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Now, we know AJ can pull a pretty good match out of anybody, and Logan Paul, I think, as much as I don't like Logan Paul, I think Logan Paul can easily you could easily carry him to a good match. So it's not the quality that I'm concerned about. It's more so the winner. I know that Logan's been showing off his new finisher, but God, if I was booking this, AJ Styles wins, no question. Because I do not want to see my boy AJ Styles lose to Logan Paul. So that's just my reasoning for it. AJ wins.
Yeah, AJ.
I got Logan Paul winning this. He's already lost matches previously. He's already did other stuff. This is a match where I think the heel has to win. And I think AJ Styles is going to make him look like $1 million.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. I was kind of 50-50 on this. Yeah, I think I'm going to change mine to Logan Paul too. I just hate to say that. Yeah, Logan Paul. I hate to see him beat him, but yeah, it's at WrestleMania. You're right. He's got to do it. He's got to put him over at WrestleMania, and you'd want someone like AJ to do that. I want to know though, if you remember a few years back at the Royal Rumble, I think it was Shelton Benjamin, or it might have been Cedric Alexander. It was him and Logan Paul. They were both on the apron on the opposite sides of the ring.
Oh,
and they jumped up and did like a springboard, and they met in the middle. Yeah, do you think Logan and AJ will try that spot?
We might get something similar.
Okay, so a yes. Rhodes?
On what, interference? So I wasn't paying attention.
Do you think you remember? Oh, that's okay. You remember a couple years back in the Royal Rumble where Logan Paul, it was either Shelton Benjamin or Cedric Alexander. They were on the opposite sides of the ring on the apron, and they jumped up and they did a springboard move to where they met in the middle of the ring in the air. Do you think AJ and him will have a spot like that where he does a phenomenal forearm, and then Logan Paul does some other move, and they meet like in the middle of the ring in the air?
Yeah, they're gonna do something like that. Like I said, AJ is gonna make Logan Paul $1 million. Like they're gonna do something. This could be a match that could be really, really, really good on the card. Because of the spot.
Yeah. Okay. Very, very fair. Next up, we have the Fatal 4-Way match for the Intercontinental title: Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. First of all, glad to see Penta getting a big WrestleMania match already. Secondly, as much as Finn Balor has really fallen off, I'm glad to see this man still in a prominent role. And Braun Breaker getting his chance to shine here is going to be great. But there's going to be only one person that's going to capitalize on all of this, and he's going to be Intercontinental champion by the end of this, and that's going to be Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Because, of course, this man's been in the clink, so he knows every tactic involved, and he's going to get his WrestleMania moment by stealing the win by pitting Finn Balor, and he's going to be the champion.
I just want to see what he's going to wear because every WrestleMania he brings out the cow skin attires. So I want to see what he's wearing this year.
The criminal is going to be the champion, guys. I promise. I hope.
He always looks like a Dell computer box. The old cow skin.
But you know what though? I think this is one of those matches where I wouldn't care who wins because really any choice would be fine for me. But I think Dominic's gonna win because he's gonna do one of those cheeky heel things where he's gonna steal the win from somebody. So I say Dom.
Man, I don't know. I got Penta. I got Penta in this. Did you see that spear that Breaker did the other week?
Yes.
Where he just
man. Braun Breaker
like
is a freak of nature.
He replaced his own self at the top of the list of best spears ever because before that it was the spear he did on I Show Speed at the Royal Rumble where he went side to side on the ropes and now this one he just ran right down the ramp and just oh god, who did he do it to?
Carlito, I think.
Oh my god, that was such a great spear. Yeah, but I'm gonna go with Penta.
I'm with Austin. I want Dom win. Dom has put on a lot of great work the last couple of years, being a really great heel and getting the crowd really to boo him more than anybody. He's long overdue to have a belt, and I think this would be a great moment for him.
And plus, getting the belt off of Braun Breaker is going to free him up to go after the world title, which he desperately needs to.
That's a great point, Austin, because, I mean, what are you doing with him for the last couple of years other than making him the biggest heel in the company?
Agreed. Like, Braun Breaker's just a beast. He's a freak of nature. He's a monster. Like, for the love of God, like, he's great. Just put the world title on him. Let him bury the English language and put some chainmail on him. This man will be, like, he's the guy. Like, he's your guy that put the rocket ship on this guy. Like, he is.
Hey, go ahead, Austin. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was going to say, he's your next top star. Like, do something with him.
I think he's on his way. I just think he needs to work on his promos.
I still think the look isn't there yet. I'm not crazy about the haircut, but yeah, I think I wish he would wear the wrestling, the thing that his dad used to wear, the protective wrestling, headgear.
Yeah.
If he does drop the belt tomorrow on Sunday night, they got to really put him with another big star or a feud, like maybe like a Randy Orton or just somebody with a bigger name to really show that they're trying to build him to be a main event because he spent almost a whole year under the mid card, but like you got to do something more with him to really start building him to be a main event star.
I think we all have been waiting to see him have a feud with Jacob Fatu. So that'd be
great too, yeah.
That would be great. God, that actually gives me chills. A Braun Breaker Jacob Fatu match. That's gonna be, whoo.
That'd be great. I just think Randy Orton or somebody, but yeah, someone like I think Randy Orton would be perfect because I want to see him start graduating to be main event, or have something between him and Roman Reigns. Have something, just try to get some more rub for him to start building that main event, tier.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. So I think 2 for Dom, 1 for Penta. All right, next up is Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. I'm going to say this right now. I hope Drew McIntyre wins because Drew deserves better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look, and that's the sad part too. Is like I love Damian Priest as well, but Drew's been my guy for the last several years. Even before he turned heel, he was always my guy. When he came back to NXT, he was great. He came back. When he won the title, I was basically with him every step of the way. I can't change loyalties now. Drew's my guy. Drew deserves better, and he deserves a world title reign this year because this man last year had one of the best years.
Absolutely.
Last year, and he deserves better.
Yeah.
And I love Priest, but McIntyre should get the win here, and then he needs to chase the world title and win because I just love Drew. He's a cool ass dude. So Drew wins.
I like Drew a lot. I think he does need a reign, but I think he's also one of those guys that he's so talented and he should get a run, he should get a push, but there's so many guys on the roster in the main event. I think that's an insane spot, and I think he kind of gets pushed aside. And I think with Punk there and Cena maybe having a reign this year, Cody, I don't know if there's room even. I mean, unless they move him back over to Raw. I don't know. I don't know. I would like to see him have a belt, but I think the roster's just got so many guys. It's so bloated. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I do pick him in this match though.
I mean, I'm more excited for Jade and Naomi's match than I am for this match. This is just like, hey, they're available. Let's give them something to do.
Yeah.
Well, Damian Priest, I don't know.
It's a build off last year.
Yeah, Damian Priest, he should have stayed on Judgment Day. He was much better being a heel. It just feels like they don't know what to do with his character or where to go with him. I mean, but I got Drew McIntyre winning this match. I mean, he needs this more than Damian Priest. I feel like Drew wins this match. Maybe, like you said, Shifty, he might go back to Raw. Could go back to Raw and wrestle Jey Uso for the belt. You got to do something with Drew McIntyre because he had a great year last year. He's given back to CM Punk. He's given back to whoever else you want him to do. He's done the stuff that he's been asked to do. Now it's time to return the favor and have him compete for a world championship after this match. Like that's he needs this more than Damian Priest.
Agreed. Let's see here. Next up, it seems like it's going to be the Randy Orton versus Vacant match. Yes, Vacant will appear at WrestleMania once again. The illustrious career of Vacant will continue as he gets his career-defining match against Randy Orton. It really determines on who they're going to have answer Randy Orton's open challenge, because I think I think Randy's going to, because if it's Nick Aldis, I think Randy's probably going to win, because I don't think they're going to have Aldis win here. If it's Aleister Black or Rusev, I think they're going to win, because I don't think they would bring them back to have them lose. I'm just going to say Vacant wins.
All right, stretch this. I forgot to write this down, so I'm typing this up right now.
I'll say it's more than likely going to be Rusev.
Okay. I was set to do this later. Austin says Rusev. Do you think Rusev will get the win?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have to type that up later because I totally forgot to put that on the thing here. Okay, Rome's, who do you think is going to be the opponent, and do you think they're going to beat Randy?
I don't think it's. I mean, thinking about it more now, it's not going to be Nick Aldis. It's not going to be Rusev. It's not going to be Aleister Black. The only other person who's not booked for a WrestleMania is Sami Zayn. So maybe Sami Zayn, replaces Kevin Owens and loses to Randy Orton.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go with. Man, I would like to see Black wrestle Orton, but I think it's Aldis. I think, of course, I didn't watch SmackDown tonight, so I don't know. And I think, That's a tough one with Aldis. I don't, man. Orton over Aldis. But it doesn't do anything. That does nothing for an extended storyline. Yeah, I'm going to go with Black over Orton because that would give him a kickstart to him returning. Black over Orton. Black wins. Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Indeed. And of course, the last thing we're going to be talking about here is the main event. Cody Rhodes, John Cena. John Cena's last WrestleMania match, and Cena could potentially break Ric Flair's official record here with 17. We know Cena's heel turn. We know Cody, he's the baby face going into it. We know this match is going to be a clusterfuck. We all have our opinions about the Cena heel run, but at this point, I think, especially with the way it's going and the story they're trying to tell, and knowing how clusterfuck this is going to be, Cena is more than likely going to beat Cody Rhodes here to give Cody Rhodes like a little thing chasing the belt, and then it'll lead to a rematch down the road where Cody's going to win the belt back from Cena, and Cena will turn back into a babyface, and yada, yada, yada. I think Cena's going to win here to advance their story, and Cena will more than likely face somebody like an AJ or a Randy at Backlash next month. So it's gonna be interesting, but I think Cena's gonna win through a clusterfuck match of interferences.
I hate to say it, but I agree with you. Why would they even do all this stuff if it wasn't going to have a title change? Unfortunately, yeah. You may see. I don't know if Ric Flair's still under contract with AEW, but he could get involved. That would be a mess. But Cena. Rounds.
So this match, I think, will be similar to. They're going to do some kind of stipulation, kind of similar to what WrestleMania 17 was when they announced this match will be a no disqualification match or a no holds bar match, because we're going to have interference in this match. No one's winning clean in this match. I think they're going to do the WrestleMania 17 thing with The Rock that comes out. Not only The Rock comes out, maybe Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Travis Scott comes out, and that's how Cody Rhodes is going to lose, getting destroyed with chairs, and God knows what other things John Cena will do, and then he'll win his match, and he'll be 17.
Okay.
Agreed.
Now, will we find out what the third? Will he do the third next swipe, and will we find who the third man is or whatever?
The third man with The Rock?
It's probably
because he would said oh really? Okay. All right. So if there's a third man, you say it's Seth.
Yeah, it'll be Seth Rollins. It's gonna be whoever wins that match on night one between Roman, CM Punk, and Seth.
Okay. Hold on, let me write this down because I didn't ask that question on here. Let's see. And I have one more question here. Let's see. Okay. Now, there's a lot of speculation because of certain people saying they support certain people. Do you think this certain person will be in attendance for this event? Mr. Orange Man.
Oh, you mean Thump?
Yeah.
Probably. I really don't want but I guess probably.
Sorry, who are you guys talking about?
Thump.
Will Trump be at WrestleMania?
Oh, Trump.
What was that?
Sorry, I think it's a thumb for a
Yeah.
second. Who we talking about? Probably, yeah. Of course he'll be. He's great friends with everybody over at
Oh God, this is gonna. Oh
TKO.
man,
TKO. Yeah,
yikes.
yeah. He's great friends with TKO. He'll be there. I don't see why he would not be there.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, we got us a questionnaire filled out, a prediction.
I got another
List here.
question. One more question.
Oh,
Do
okay.
you think Stone Cold Steve Austin will show up? It's gonna show up in this match
Ooh. Oh.
because he's in Vegas. He's there all weekend.
Man,
That also makes
I
me
don't know.
wonder if Black Adam will make an appearance.
Okay, I'm going to say. Let's see. Hold on, let me get this set up here. I'm going to say yes for Austin.
I'm gonna say yes if Dwayne appears.
Okay,
I'm gonna say
Rose?
as much as I want to see him, I'm gonna say no. The missed opportunity was last year. I don't know how it would work with him showing up for this one. If he shows up, I think that means Cody's gonna win.
Okay. Oh, now that puts me our choices into question for the last match. Does Rock appear?
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah, he'll be there.
Roman?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but see the Austin question, it throws off some of our prediction here, but that's all right. That's all right. It's going to be crazy either way.
Okay, so I think we got everything.
Just about. Let me pull this one image up right here, and I hope it's nothing bad. It's just it's oh that's not image. That's a video. Back off of that. It's somebody. It's AI art, so I don't think anybody's can like claim it. So I think it's AR or that somebody did it. Let's see. You can show it if you want to. That's cool. I thought that was cool because they had the Star Wars celebration happening the same weekend as WrestleMania, and somebody did that. Yeah, I guess
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. That's pretty.
Dude, this is a hell of a Royal Rumble match. I'm not gonna lie. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. That's pretty cool.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
That's pretty cool.
they're setting up the matches for WrestleMania next year. Or
Yeah, and I got a lot of those figures. I just need to get me a ring. I could do that.
dude, Yoda Count Dooku at next year's WrestleMania is gonna go crazy.
Oh God, that Yoda figure was so hard to get, and I didn't get one. Man, it was only available at like the Disney store, and I didn't know it, and sold out like real quick.
Maul and Qui-Gon too. That's gonna be. Oh, they're gonna do a tag match of one of the guards, the Nemodian or whatever Jabba's guards, and Greedo versus Chewie and Han. Emperor and Vader. Yeah,
I love that. I love how Vader throws Emperor over the ring.
Emperor and Vader, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Mando versus whoever that guy is. Bo-Katan, Prince Leia, Luke versus General. Dude, WrestleMania. The Star Wars WrestleMania next year is gonna go crazy with all these matches they got.
I love how Leia has Katie Sackhoff. I forgot the character's name in a 4-figure lock.
Figure 4, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yoda with the leg drop.
Yeah. Jabba chilling out in the back.
He's one of the managers. R2-D2's in the back. Whose side are they on? Well, why is the champion coming out first, McMahon? Why is the champion out in the Rumble match, McMahon?
I know you're not into Star Wars much anymore, but the Mando trailer leaked for the movie next year, and it ends with with Jabba's son. He's like in a Coliseum fight or something. He's got huge muscle arms, man. He's like, yeah.
And this is off topic, Shifty. What do you think of the title for Star Wars? What's called Starfighters? Sean Levy's movie.
It's weird. And the whole concept's weird because I was kind of looking forward to like the Rogue Squadron or whatever it was that they were going to do with the pilots, and now they're doing a totally different concept with a different director, but it's still the pilots. I don't know. I don't know. The title is kind of but it's got Ryan Gosling in it, so it may be decent. I heard that chick from Honora, Mikey Madison, she got offered a role, but she turned it down. I'm sorry, Austin. We're talking Star Wars. I'm sorry, Austin.
Yeah. First of all, Star Wars reference you. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. You Star Wars.
Hey, people forgot Star Wars Celebration started last night. We're all asleep.
Yeah. A lot of stuff's happening this week. There's so many different trailers coming out, and WrestleMania the same week, and you got, it's so much stuff to take in and talk about. It's crazy. And then me collecting toys and shit. And there's just there's a whole bunch of stuff going on there, and that's crazy stuff.
Very, very crazy. And with that being said,
that being said, we got like like 10 hours of wrestling this weekend. That's not even calling counting the Hall of Fame or the NXT show or any of the other shows from the other promotions. We're Raw next week.
It's going to be a long one, I will say.
Yeah.
And I hope
Brace
everybody.
Yourself.
Yeah, everyone needs to. Let's hope we survive.
Hold on to your butts.
Yes. Because oh god, this is gonna be something.
Indeed.
And next week we'll give our thoughts if this is good or not.
You might need some coffee.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some energy drinks. Gonna need to be. Just hope we survive.
Yeah, if you get energy drinks, make sure it's Prime.
No, God, no. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for this week. I'll let everybody go around the panel, let everybody know where they can find themselves at. We'll start with Rome's. Where can they find you at?
So they find me at Good Old Wrestling with Austin and Shifty. I'm also on the Cool Kids channel. We have a review tomorrow night, but I won't be on it because WrestleMania. They'll be reviewing Sinners, which is a great movie, which I saw today. You can also catch me with Austin on Storms Nation on Sundays at 8 o'clock. And then I have my own channel when I do my own videos and with my cousin and stuff whenever we have stuff to talk about. I think we're going to be talking about DMC and Born Again soon.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Shifty, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on the YouTube. It's Shiftygism. It's Shifty GISM. Talk about action figures and movies and all that stuff. And sometimes I rant. Sometimes I talk about how Ezra split the timeline when he saved Ahsoka and Rebels from Vader's death. All that stuff. Crazy topics. And you can find me right here on Good Old Wrestling with the Austin Rome's. Hey, you should know that already if you're watching. And then on Thursday nights, over on either Vinny Tartamella Art or Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, their YouTube channels, they have the Collectible Pass Toy Show, and it's been running 3 hours the last couple of weeks because they added me to the panel. And we've been having a ball over there just talking about and ranting about certain people in the toy industry. Todd McFarlane seems to be a popular guy with us, but he's also a guy we rant about on a consistent basis because let me tell you something. Walmart had an exclusive year one Batman figure that was supposed to be up for pre-order the other day, And but before they even announced it on Twitter, like they announced it on Twitter, we go over to Walmart to pre-order it. It was sold out. It sold out, and everybody was furious. And then, there's trucks being stolen with their figures, and they can't meet their pre-order. Yeah, it's messed up. It's a headache. But
I feel your pain on that one too, because I question why everything's sold out that quickly. I mean, a lot of the Superman figures from McFarlane dropped today, and they're all sold out within like 20 minutes, and it's like, what's going on here?
Let me tell you something. I don't know if they're sold out now, but GameStop, I'm going to go over there tomorrow and try to pre-order the movie figure in store.
Okay.
If you ever want any toys reserved and GameStop carries it, do it in store. You'll save on shipping. But you can learn all that stuff and see some cool reviews and stuff just every Thursday night about 8:30 on Vinny and Tommy's channel, and it's a great show, fun show.
Yeah, I was able to get a Superman figure through Walmart by pre-ordering it today, so I got lucky that at least somewhere I was able to pre-order it, but I just found it like it didn't make any sense that everywhere else was sold out.
You may want to go somewhere else and get another one and cancel that, because they've been known to cancel pre-orders a lot.
Oh, okay.
A lot. So you may want to go to GameStop and do it there in store if you can.
All right, that's good to know.
Good to know, indeed. No, you're good. So you can find me here, Good Old Wrasslin. Me and Eric Kibbers do a movie review show. We'll get back to that at some point. You can find me on Storms Nation on Sundays. You can find me on the Cool Kids channel. I'm not gonna be there because of WrestleMania as well, but check out their Sinners review. I'm basically everywhere. Basco's channel for the Hangout, and everywhere. So I think that about wraps it up. So I want to thank everybody for watching. This is the Osinator signing out.
Later.
Peace.
That's awesome.